In this demonstration, we'll take a look at how to configure a routing policy action on a routing policy. Now, I've already created my routing policy. You can see here that I'm in the contents of the routing policy right now. It's Glen routing policy. Now, if I use my show command here, you can see that I've created a term called term1, which has currently got a match condition set up where if the message or the routing information message is from protocol OSPF, I want to do something. So I need to specify the actual action. What if the protocol is an OSPF message? So what I need to do is alter that term1 and add that action in. So I'm going to use my set command here. I want to set term1, and then I'm going to use my question mark. Now, when I use the question mark, you'll see our parameters that can follow the term name, and you'll notice that we can specify the match conditions with the to and from keywords, but if you want to specify the action, which is what I want to do, then what you need to do is use the then keyword, right? So if the protocol is OSPF, what are we going to do? Well, then let's go do something, right? What are we going to do? You do a then space and then question mark, and your actions will appear. And there's a large list of actions. Some of the common ones, we do have those terminating actions of accept, and then also towards the end, I've also got my reject as well. So eventually that's what I want to do, is I want to accept this message. But also you'll notice that there's a number of other things that we can do. We could alter the community if we wanted to. We can also alter the metric value. So let's say I want to do that. I want to alter the metric value, and then I want to go and accept the message. Notice also that there is a reject as well. So very common to set the accept and the reject. So I'm going to say then go and set the metric value to 5, let's say. So we'll hit enter, and then I'll do set term1, then accept. So after I set the metric value to 5, then I want to accept the routing information. And just to take a look at that rule, I'm going to use the show command. And notice that because I'm actually in the portion of the configuration of Glen routing policy, I'm just going to show the contents of this routing policy. So I can see here that this routing policy has a term called term1, and the match condition is if it's from protocol OSPF, then go alter the metric value of 5 and accept the message. The most common actions are to accept and reject the message, but it is important that you see that there are other types of actions there that you can actually use to manipulate the information before turning around and accepting it. So that's very useful. Now, just to kind of finalize this up, I want to do a different example. Let's say I want to reject, so I want to use that reject action if the message is coming from a neighbor of a specific IP address. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and set term2. So I'll add a second term here, and I'll specify if the message is coming from neighbor, and then I'll plug in an IP address. So if the message is coming from neighbor 192.168.1.254, I'm going to do something. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to set term2, then I'm going to go and reject. So in this case, I added a second term that has a match condition of check to see if the message is coming from neighboring device 192.168.1.254. If so, let's go and reject that message. So if I do a show command here and hit enter, we can see that I do have a policy that now has two terms, term1 and term2. So in this demonstration, we saw how to add an action to your policy.